Hey RV family, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morse, Review Guy, and I'm back again to bring you another video, and in this one I'm going to be covering the new Cave-In record entitled Final Transmission. This is the 6th studio-length album by the Massachusetts alternative rock, post-hardcore, metalcore band Cave-In, formed in 1995. This is released on Hydra Head, and this new record is 9 tracks, 31 minutes, which is fairly short for a Cave-In project. This is their first record since 2011's White Silence, and it's their first record since Caleb Schofield, their bassist, tragically died in a car crash 1 year before the record was released. And for the most part, this is a pretty straightforward, pretty blunt, sometimes noisy, always moody, alternative rock record tinged with post-hardcore. Not to mention a lot of the riffs kind of sound like if you took a progressive rock band and stacked it with the grunge riffs of a Pearl Jam or a Soundgarden. Shake My Blood's a good example of that. The instrumental kind of dominates the first half of the track, and the way those vocals come back in and refrain and spew that refrain, it really does sound like something that could have been ripped out of the 90s grunge movement or even the 2000s post-grunge movement and alt-metal movement. The first track, the self-titled track, is okay, but with repeated listens it would definitely be a track that I would skip. It's just some very basic minimalist kind of loud guitar chords strummed, as well as these kind of Frank Zappa-esque do-do-do-do vocals, which do really remind me of Frank Zappa, specifically something that would have been on Apostrophe. It definitely, without a doubt, has this moody feel, but it's just not something that I would stick around for very long. The gimmick, the vibe kind of wears thin. All Illusion is a pretty dark and dingy track, but I just cannot get behind the, like, McDonald's drive-through radio announcer type of mixing that was thrown on his voice. I just can't get behind that, and it's not really backed up or helped by the fact that this track boasts some fairly run-of-the-mill alternative rock riffs and drums. Nightcrawler has the same mixing, and it still continues to really get on my nerves. The instrumentation otherwise just feels like a more distorted, faster tempoed alt-rock or alt-metal band from the 2000s, and I'm not really that big of a fan of the chorus, to be honest, even though I do enjoy some of those ascending and descending guitar melodies, if you can even call them melodies. And it's really hard to make heads or tails of Lunar Day. It's this extremely hectic, atmospherically noisy track with these ethereal, detached, despondent, reverbed and echoed vocals ringing out into oblivion. And the overall triumphant feel of this track really does get me up in my feels, but given the short length of the track as well as just how abstract it is, it's a lot of times kind of hard to decipher this track. I mean, this Cave-In record's not that bad. It's a pretty decent alternative rock and post-hardcore record, but I think it does drown in some of the cliches and tropes of the genre it finds itself in, and I have heard better from Cave-In. I have heard some more experimental, fun, blistering ideas. I feel like, for the most part, they kind of toned it down just a little bit on this record and made it a little bit slower, a little bit moodier, a little bit more atmospheric, and I can't really say if this is their worst record, but I can say that it's a fairly disappointing record. As going into it, I was hoping for a little bit more, but if you enjoy alternative rock or post-hardcore or alt-metal or whatever, you probably should check this record out because there's enough somewhat different ideas for the time period it currently finds itself in that you might find interesting, somewhat with those grunge and progressive elements thrown into the mix, and it was a decently fun listen overall. I'm going to be giving this out my 6 out of 10. And that is a wrap. Please stay for the unscrewed links and videos you might be interested in. Have you heard this new Cave-In album? What did you think of it? Post in the comment section below. I'd love to discuss the record with you. Like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new here, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. I'll talk to you next time. But my name is Jay Morse, Review Guy, and I'm signing off saying farewell.